Welcome to Marketing Champions, where we shine a light on the people, products, and places that are highlighting the field of marketing. I'm here with Amelia Coomber of Podscribe. Hi, Amelia.
Hi, Susie. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here. Could you tell us a little bit about what Podscribe does?
Yeah, absolutely. Podscribe is a podcast advertising analytics company. So we help advertisers, brands, Athletic Greens, BetterHelp, Manscaped, you name it, basically measure their podcast ads just like you measure any other digital channel, Facebook, Google, things like that. So really bringing the podcast advertising space into the sort of digital era.
Wonderful. And I understand that podcast is the largest growing media space that we have. So for advertisers to stay at the head of that curve, they really want to know what the return on the investment is going to be. How can you analyze and give them those numbers? So can you tell us a little bit about how this new space is working at pivoting into media?
Absolutely. And you're absolutely correct. I think it's one of the fastest growing mediums in the last 15, 20 years, which is very exciting. But exciting in the other ways that it's also sort of a new frontier. So to your point, exactly, advertisers running podcast ads, looking for opportunities to expand their media mix, not trying to diversify and spend a little bit less on Facebook and figure out those other channels. Podcast advertising is a great avenue, but it can really be really hard to sort of get into it. And what podcast advertising has historically been when it comes to measurement is really having to be relying on like promo codes and vanity URLs. So we actually have a pixel-based solution that not only allows them to capture, it's around 70% more conversions. And again, they can look at those direct order IDs from the actual ad exposure, but also see real-time visits, real-time conversion rates, and all of those other metrics that a performance marketer and an advertiser has expectations for on any other channel.
Okay, so let me understand this. Are you working with the podcasters, the advertisers, or both?
Both, and actually even the agencies that do the buying on behalf of advertisers. So yeah, we do the whole gamut.
Fantastic. Now, I'd love to find out a little bit more since podcast is such a nuanced market. This is someone who's in your ear or in your car. So it's almost an intimate relationship, which means that I trust that person or that podcast. And so the advertising and the marketing is something that inherently I will trust, because if you are willing to commit to this product, I'm willing to try it. Is that along the lines?
Exactly it. I mean, it's one of the last mediums that is not inundated with ad fatigue. People actually appreciate ads on podcasts because they're, like you said, that person that they listen to and they respect, and sometimes they almost consider a friend. They know that they're getting this content for free, and they want to support the person that creates it. So it's exactly that relationship. And we've all probably listened to a podcast ad, and when that person comes on and they say, "Hey, this product, this cold plunge changed my life," your ears definitely, perk up way more than if you were to see a Facebook ad or, search something on Google and get an ad for that product.
Absolutely. With the AI and the technology today, I'm assuming that it's going to listen, or it's going to unintentionally capture my wants, as opposed to me intentionally being targeted based on who I'm listening to and what I'm listening for.
Exactly. And so when it comes to ROI that these advertisers and these brands can derive by expanding into podcast ads, we have seen some really, really phenomenal stuff. CPMs are so expensive in Facebook. It's getting harder and harder to improve efficiency. And advertisers are starting to flock to podcast ads as, again, a way to diversify and a way to find, really new incremental audiences that they, won't just reach from an awareness standpoint, but that they can also convert. And that's sort of where we fall into the equation, is helping them actually measure that impact and run incrementality tests. And again, make it like every other digital channel that they've been running.
I love that. And is there one piece of advice as we wrap up that you would give anyone who's thinking of getting into the marketing field, which is so broad today?
Oh, it's such a great question. I would say start mastering the hard skills. I think that marketers are inherently great people. They're conversationalists, and they have that creative brain. But I think that a lot of marketers don't differentiate themselves enough by the hard skills. So, for instance, I come from a software engineering background, and that really set me apart as I was going into my marketing career, because I knew how to run SQL queries, and I knew how to test conversion events on Google Analytics and things like that. So I would absolutely say watch a couple YouTube videos, try to hone those harder, more technical skills, even from a marketing side, and then the rest sort of comes and follows as just marketing people are as they are.
I love that. I think that's the best piece of advice I've heard yet. If you want to find out more about Amelia Coomber and Podscribe, you can find us on Daily News Network. Thank you, Amelia, so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
I look forward to seeing you next time on Marketing Champions.